Welcome to the MGB. It's week 1. I'm so glad you're here. My name is Hayden Steele. I am the creator of the Muscle Growth Blueprint. And that's what this is. This is a blueprint to guide you to your destination for muscle growth and hypertrophy. This program specifically is going to be a 5-day split. This is day 1. This is going to be chest day. I'm going to walk you through how we're going to organize this entire program. Day 1 is going to be chest. Day 2 is going to be back. And then we're going to have a rest day in between. Then we're going to go to shoulders, arms, and legs. Now, this is strategically organized to optimize all 5 days. So one of the biggest mistakes people make when they're organizing a workout split, I've watched YouTube a lot recently for a lot of YouTubers talking about why a 4-day split is superior to a 5-day split because there's more frequency per group. Meaning if you do a push-pull day, you're going to get 2 of those push-pull days. Whereas if we're doing a 5-day split, you've got 1 chest day. Therefore, since there's 1 chest day, you're getting less chest. What a lot of these people are forgetting is that the body works as a whole. So even though we have individual muscle group splits, your body's using different muscle groups in every single workout. So, don't forget that on chest day, you've got chest and triceps. On back day, you've got back and biceps. On shoulder day, you've got chest, back, and triceps. On arm day, you've got biceps and triceps. And then you have a leg day. And if you want to throw in 2 leg days, just add a leg day. But my point is that all of these people are neglecting that in this 5-day split, you're working all these muscle groups multiple times. So you get more focus per muscle group in a 5-day split, meaning like today, we're just going to focus on chest. There's going to be less total time in your workout because we're just doing chest. There's going to be more time under tension per muscle group per week because we're also going to get chest during your shoulders, and we're going to have higher volume in this workout. So we're hitting the intensity harder. We're hitting the frequency as much because we're going to get chest in on more days, and there's more focus. My whole design for the Muscle Growth Blueprint is based on focus. I think that TikTok awoke me to how unfocused most people are because no one can pay attention longer than 30 seconds and everybody's following 30-second sound bites. I'm about to say something that's going to contradict everything I just said about a 5-day split. Whether you do a 4-day split or a 5-day split, none of that matters. One thing matters, and that's execution. How you do the exercises is what matters. And I think that we have lost focus of what's important. So my point is that I'm going to have a 4-day split in my Muscle Growth Blueprint. This in particular is a 5-day split. But I also know that in my 5-day split, I can teach you more soundly, exercise per exercise, how to execute each one without being distracted behind having to go chest and back or trying to get all these different body parts into one workout and just focusing on one. There's going to be more value in this 5-day split program from learning how to execute every single exercise that you can carry on to whatever split you want to do. Don't get caught up in this is a 5-day workout split. That is the last thing you need to worry about. What you need to worry about right now is how the do I execute every exercise? That's what matters. And I see less people paying attention to how to freaking do the thing that we're trying to do, as opposed to what the workout split are we trying to do? If you don't know how to execute the exercises, how the does this even matter? This doesn't matter unless you know how to execute every single thing. And that's what I want to teach you in this program is how do we do the thing that we're trying to do. Now, this is a 5-day split, and I do love a 5-day split, but I wanted to make sure that you understand that at the end of the day, I don't care if you do a 4-day split. I don't care if you do a 5-day split. What I do care about is how you freaking execute everything that we're trying to do. And if you watch my workouts, one thing you're gonna notice really fast about me is that is what I care about, because I spend all my time on this, because I know that that's what actually matters. So I wanted to drive home that a 5-day split is a great focused workout split where you can really just focus in every single workout on one thing. But at the end of the day, execution, execution, execution. There's a few more things I want to drive home about a 5-day split that I like. So I believe that there is higher volume per muscle group, because like in today's workout, we're going to go 4 sets of chest and we're going to go 3 different exercises. So today we're going to have, that's going to be 12 sets of chest, 12 minutes of time under tension. We'll vary some things, but it's going to be a pretty quick workout. So even though we have a pretty high time under tension, the total time, if you go 1 minute on, 1 minute off, is 24 minutes. Now this workout you're going to see is longer than that, but that's because I have some extra instruction in there. But overall, even though it's 5 days, it's more focused and it doesn't take all day, because you're not trying to get in chest and back and abs and all these things. So higher volume, more time under tension, which equals more hypertrophy, because we know that time under tension is a major driver for muscle growth. There's more focus, so I believe there's higher quality in less time. This drives home in what I have referred to as intentional effort. And what I mean by that is, since we are just focused on chest, all of your intention is going towards one thing. And I think there's a lot of value in that. Once again, I'll go back to TikTok and just how distracted we are. And if you don't know how to execute a chest exercise, then let's not combine chest with back. Let's figure out chest and then we'll go back. And as you get better on things, then start transitioning to multiple focuses if you want. But right now, let's focus in on one thing per workout. Also, one thing that's very interesting is, so since we have higher volume in less focused workouts, meaning we have one chest day, one back day, you actually have greater recovery days between these high volume days. So there's some value in that extra recovery between these high volume days, and we have enough accessory muscle groups getting worked in each piece of the 5-day split that it's still getting worked to maintain that hypertrophy level. So I believe that this is a very balanced workout split. Make sure I don't have anything else I want to drive home. So the key takeaways from this 5-day split are higher weekly stimuluses, higher time under tension per muscle group, higher volume, more focus, less time, but make no mistake, execution is everything. At the end of the day, it's how the do I do these exercises. And that's what I'm gonna drive home today. Welcome to the MGB. This is the Muscle Growth Blueprint. And this is where you're gonna basically learn that everything you've learned before is gonna be different than what I teach you, because we do things with precision and focus. Let's get started today. Week 1, day 1, chest, let's get started. So I do want you to do your best to follow these workouts in the order that I have laid out. Today is chest, and the next workout's gonna be back. So day 1 is chest, day 2 is back. Why does that matter? It matters in the sense of the order that I'm grouping things for, like your triceps. So in back day, there's not a lot of tricep, but in our shoulder day, there is gonna be some triceps. So we've got chest, back, rest, and then we're gonna go into shoulder. So this gives your triceps 2 days in between your shoulder workout where there's minimal tricep. But I've got this thing laid out strategically for your accessory muscle groups, so that not only are we hitting the big muscle groups hard on a single day, but the accessory muscle groups are also laid out strategically where you have 1 to 2 days of rest between them, and that the frequency isn't too much to inhibit hypertrophy, and it's optimal to build muscle. So once again, why do I prefer this workout split over the 4-day? Because there is higher volume, because in every single accessory day, you're hitting the muscle groups again. If your body functioned not as a whole and as a single unit, in other words, if we did just have muscle isolation, then then I would say the other split would be optimal. But that's not how the body works, because today we've got a lot of triceps, and back we've got a lot of bicep. We also have shoulder. So I don't want to just keep driving that home over and over and over again, but this is not just a chest day. This is a chest and tricep day indirectly. In this workout, I want you to scroll down. On your screen, I have technique tips and how to actually perform this exercise step by step. I recorded this in a separate video, and I also have another section of this week that's dedicated just to technique. So make sure you go to the technique section, tap on that, and you can see the individual breakdown of how to perform this chest press. So as of right now, I'm gonna assume that you've watched those videos, and let's get started into our workout. This is day one, so hopefully you've watched the time under tension videos by now. We are going by time under tension and not reps. The reason we're going by time under tension is because a rep in and of itself doesn't tell us anything. It just provides information for how many you've done, but it doesn't actually measure the time that your muscles were under load for. And when you look at the properties that are the most important for muscle growth, it's not simply going through the motions and just performing reps. This is why when you go to Crunch Fitness and you watch these guys who are just pumping 10 out really, really fast and they're getting to 10, people like me see that and they cringe, because I think, oh my gosh, that guy has no idea what actually mattered, and that was loading his chest and optimally contracting his chest for a certain time with a certain amount of tension and with a certain amount of effort, because it's not just the time that matters. It's also pushing yourself near failure in that amount of time. So if this is overwhelming to you, just know I'm gonna walk you through this. We've got 12 weeks of, multiply that by 5 workouts a week, that I'm gonna hone these principles into your brain, and I'm gonna teach you how to do this, because that's what this program is about. This is not about, you know, do this workout of the day, do that workout of the day. This is about teaching you how to train for life, how to incorporate all these things into your workouts the rest of your life where you don't even need me. That's what I like to do. I like to teach people. That's my passion. So let's start this thing. Set number 1, we're gonna go 1 minute of time under tension. And I'm gonna assume you've watched the technique video. Let's get this thing started. I'm gonna start my timer, my Apple Watch. Time is rolling. I'm gonna grab 50s. So this is set number 1. This is kind of my warm-up set. Well, I think anyway. I've got the dumbbells on my knees. I'm gonna use my legs to prop back, go right into position. I've got a very slight angle of the dumbbells, and then I'm gonna make my chest control my arms all the way down. I'm trying to bend around 90 degrees here at the bottom part of the range. I'm gonna tighten my chest before I move, and I'm gonna make my chest draw my hands towards the center. Now notice when I get all the way in, I'm trying to time it to where my arms are all the way straight. Pause here, tighten first. I'm gonna make my chest fight these weights all the way down. I'm optimizing every second that I'm under load. I just hit a minute. I'm gonna go for 2 more. Pause in here for 3, 2, press. Pausing here for 3, 2, press. Bringing my knees up. I'm going to set the weights on my knees and let the weight prop me forward. I have a video in this app that walks you through how to get in and out of position. So I want you to watch that video where I walk you through exactly how to place the dumbbells on your knees and how to roll back into position, because that's an art in and of itself. So the time under tension window that we're going to strive for is between 40 seconds and 90 seconds. So we've got a little bit of a variance in our time window, and we're going to play with that variance, and I'm going to teach you how to use that time window and combine that with how much weight and load to use. Because that's where the art really comes down to this thing. And it takes experience to know how to manipulate these different variables. I've got 20 seconds. So what I want you to do is evaluate on that first set, how hard was that? The method that I like the most for this is called reps in reserve. So how many more reps did you have left after the last one that you performed? So on that last one, how many more could I have done before I reached failure? I would probably say I had 3 or 4 more. So that means that I can go up in weight on this set theoretically. So I'm gonna go up on this next set. It is time, so I'm gonna change the weight. Oh, let's see, what am I gonna go for? I'm gonna go for 70. Let's see what happens. Okay, I got 70s. Set my time, 1 minute. Started. Dumbbells on the knees. Popping up into position. I want to make my chest fight this weight all the way down. Pause here, tighten first. Drawing my hands to the center. Now I want you to notice that I am in control of the weight, and the weight is not in control of me. So what do I mean by that? So as I'm doing this, if the weight was in control of me, I would just be letting it fall and then just pressing up, and then fall and then pressing up. I'm not doing that. I'm making my chest fight my arms all the way down, and then I'm decelerating here at the bottom. I'm gonna pause. I'm gonna tighten my chest first, and I'm gonna make my chest squeeze these dumbbells up and together. And that's really effing hard with 70s. Last one. Popping up. Rest. 1 minute. We are pushing ourselves today, even though this is day 1. We're going over technique, but we're also going over how to combine technique with effort. So what I want you to do right now is rest. I want you to completely gather your breath, because we only have a minute, and as you get tired, these minutes start going really, really fast. 35 seconds. Reps in reserve. How many more reps did I have left in the tank after that last rep? I would say maybe 1 or 2. Part of that was because I was doing those demos for you guys, so that kind of wore me out. But I'm gonna try 70 again. Oh shit, never mind. I'm gonna go at 80. I'll talk myself out of that. Let's see what happens. Okay, I'll go up a little bit, and we'll try it. So if TikTok exists tomorrow, for all those people that think I lift lightweight, I'm about to do 80s for a minute. So that's not that light, but I'm also doing it with control. And as you guys will find out really soon, this is really effing hard. So 80s with control for a minute is like doing 130-pound dumbbells. Okay. I'm gonna make my chest fight my arms all the way down. Pause here, I'm gonna tighten first. Four-step rep. I'm gonna create tension on my chest. I'm gonna make my chest fight these dumbbells all the way down. I'm gonna pause, I'm gonna tighten, I'm gonna draw them up and together. See if I got one more. Nope. Popping out of position, reps in reserve, 0. That is time. Okay, what else did I do on that when I failed, essentially? I want you to notice how I got out of that position. So I had 80s, and I think I had like 10 seconds left. I got to about right here, and I had a decision to make. I probably could have got those dumbbells up and completely lost my form, but I decided not to do that. And I also could have taken these dumbbells and done what a lot of people do, and that is this. They get to here, they can't go up, so they do this. That is terrible on your shoulder joint, especially with 80s. That's asking to tear a labrum or a rotator cuff. So it also, if there are weights on the ground, I've seen people slam down and hit their hand on another weight and like almost lose a finger. So I've seen too much. So when you get to here, what you want to do is you want to bring the dumbbells in close and then either set them on your chest and ask for help, or you want to try to crunch them up like this. You always want to keep the weights in close. So no matter what you're doing with the chest exercise, make sure that as you fail, you bring the weights in and then coming into here. The further you are out from your shoulder joint, the more stress on the joint, and you don't want to go into an extreme range with high amounts of weight, and with the shoulder, really with any weight, doesn't matter. Okay, round 3. I'm gonna go back to 70. 1 minute start. I'll go a little bit extra since it took me time to get into position. Tension on your chest, step 1. I'm gonna make my chest control these weights all the way down. I'm gonna decelerate, I'm gonna pause. I'm gonna tighten first. This is gonna be very interesting to see if I last. I'm dropping. '60s. Weights on the knees, popping back. This doesn't feel any freaking easier. That's it. Rest. So, the way that this is going to work when you're doing time under tension workouts like this is it becomes an avalanche. So this becomes a complete snowball effect. Set 1 feels deceptively easy typically. Set 2 can also feel sometimes easier than set 1. Set 3 is the deciding set. It's typically where people lose it. And then that translates to set 4 and set 5, which is why in my other videos you'll see me lifting 5-pound weights or whatever on set 5, because this time under tension thing gets very accumulative, especially for those of you whose muscles aren't used to being under tension for this long, because you're doing 10 fucking reps in 10 seconds. And that's what most people are doing. You're gonna find out really soon how fast your sets are when you start doing this. Because I used to do shrugs and I thought I did a pretty good shrug, and I started doing this time under tension thing, and around 20 seconds, I was like, holy shit, I've been doing this for an hour. And it opened up my personal world to how jaded my own view was of my own time under tension window. So if you're not used to this, this is gonna be a freaking eye opener for you. Okay. Reps in reserve was basically none. So let's go to 50. Let's make this high quality. We may push the time window a little bit longer on this. Time started. Dumbbells on the knees. Popping into position. Engage your chest. Make your chest fight these weights all the way down. I'm going to pause here. I'm going to tighten first. What's everybody doing at Crunch Fitness? They're doing this. Or they're just pushing straight up like this and not drawing the dumbbells in. What are we going to do? We're going to make your chest fight these weights all the way down and own every inch of the movement. We're going to pause here at the very bottom, and we're not just pausing, we're keeping tension on your chest. And then we're going to make your chest tighten so hard that your chest bring these weights in and together. Damn, I got 10 seconds. This is going to be interesting. Holding here for 3, 2, press. Failure. Where's the failure's progress here? That is time. Reps in reserve. 0. I didn't have anything left. I did maintain form, but barely. It's 4 sets. 4 minutes. A little extra time for a little extra technique. So that's it for the dumbbell press. We're going to move on to our next exercise. This is week 1. As I said, all these things are timed strategically for most of the part, 1 minute on, 1 minute off. So you can calculate how long your workout is going to take. And within this time period of 24 minutes or 30 minutes or whatever it is it takes you, focus in, eliminate distractions, watch these videos, listen to your music or whatever you do, turn TikTok off, turn YouTube off, whatever it is. Focus in on the right here, right now. Let's maximize our time. Let's go to our next exercise. We're gonna go to an incline press. I'm gonna have you join me over here. One of the unique things about this course is I'm trying to teach you the things that you need to know to do all these things on your own and not need me. The next exercise we're gonna do is a Smith machine incline press. Where we're gonna have the incline is between 30 and 45 degrees. I talked about in the previous videos, if you scroll down or you look at the technique videos, that as you incline a bench, for every incline you go up, you're gonna have a little bit less chest and more shoulder. So the optimal bench position to get maximal chest contraction is 30 to 45 degrees. Beyond that, you start getting more and more shoulder. Now, that's not inherently wrong or bad. It just means you're gonna lose a little chest recruitment. So I'm gonna bias towards around 30 to 45 degrees. What I wanna show you is how we align your body in a Smith machine, because this is a little different. A Smith machine is it's a locked in plane. So this specific exercise, compared to a dumbbell, you have all this wiggle room to move up and down this way. With a Smith machine, we have to cater to the plane that we're locked into due to the machine. Now, this provides benefit and comes with some things that aren't necessarily as beneficial. This just makes it different than a dumbbell. What is beneficial about this is this adds stability. So if you're new to lifting, this takes a control component out of the picture and gives you a little bit more stability to work with for the press. If you're somebody who wants to push the weight a little bit, this provides more stability to allow you to push the weight a little bit more, and it gives you a safety locking mechanism to where you don't need a spotter and you can push yourself a little bit harder and not worry about it. So there are benefits of this machine that don't come with dumbbells, but there's also, you lose some benefits because there is also benefit to having that control mechanism and being able to orient the resistance differently because of all this degrees of freedom that you have to work with. So how do you position yourself on a Smith machine to get in the proper position? The biggest thing to know is I want to show you something within the joint. You have to position your body so that we align the forces optimally up with your shoulder. So I want you to show you something in this joint. So in this joint, the further out your elbow is this way, you've got this bone right here. This is called the greater tubercle of your humerus. As I take, we name this guy Charlie, as I take Charlie's arm, out this way, do you see how this bone gets closer and closer with this bone? We have these tendons in here, and the further up I go out this way, the more I'm mashing these tendons together. So if I can create a little space in the joint by positioning Charlie here, I'm gonna have less stress on the shoulder joint. So we wanna align yourself front to back to where you can have your elbow tucked under the bar and keep your forearm congruent with the bar. So I'm gonna show you how to do that. But the first thing I wanted to show you was on the skeleton, why this is important and how you align yourself up on the bench, because this does impact your shoulder joint. So I'm not just being, you know, really anal for no reason. I've got specific reasons of how I'm gonna line you up. And I'm gonna show you that next. So you walk into the gym, the machine is not set up. Where do you start? How do we do this thing? Well, you have to guess at first as to where to push this, to put this bench, and then kind of play with it. So I'm gonna show you how to do that. So I'm gonna take this bench, I'm gonna scoot it back, and I'm gonna overly bias this too far this way. I pretty much know where to go, but I'm gonna show you a few wrong positions. So if I get in this thing here with this bench pretty far back, and I get under the bar, well, I have my elbows tucked under me, which is that same position that I told you we do kind of want. But I have to really fight to keep my elbows under the bar here. Like, this is a lot of work for me to really keep my elbows tucked in. Like, I'm almost something like to pinch them underneath. So I would say this is too far back this way. So if I scoop my bench forward here, now I'm gonna bias the opposite way. And I overcompensate. Well, this sure as hell isn't gonna be right, because look at where my shoulder joint is now. I mean, I can't even get in the right spot, and this is setting myself up for impingement here. So if I push the bench back a little bit more and play with this, right here, I'm tucked under the bar. This is really comfortable, and I can stay in the plane. So you see how my elbow is kind of tucked under, I'm not flared out. This is that position that I had Charlie in the skeleton, where all the joint forces are congruent, and you can stay in a really good path of motion here. So you have to play with the position front to back. Too far back. Too far forward. I'm going to slide it back a little bit more. Now I can stay tucked under the bar. Look at your elbow, forearm, hand. Look, one straight line. Hand, elbow, forearm. That's what you want right here. That's how you know if you're in the right spot. I'm not out here like this. I'm not under here like this. I'm right underneath. This is where you want to be. Okay, now let's play with your hand position as far as how wide you want to be. If you watch the back videos, you'll notice how I talked about at the widest part of your pull down, you want to be at 90 degrees with the pull down bar as far as your hand position. It's the same thing here. So I'm at the lowest point of my press, and I'm around 90 degrees. You don't want to be too far in this way, and you don't want to be too far out this way. I'm not at 90, not at 90. Here I'm at 90. This is just a very good general rule of thumb for an incline press. You can do the press other ways to maximize your tricep more. You can do like a tricep press. That's not what we're doing today, so I'm not gonna get distracted with that. So 90 degrees is the bottom part of the range. We went over the position front to back. I wanna go over one more thing, and that's gonna be, how do you know how low to go? So as you lower this thing, one of the benefits of time under tension is you get to really feel through your range. Everybody has different shoulder ranges of motion. So if I'm controlling this bar, as I get to right through here, I'm gonna feel through, how does my shoulder feel? Do I have any more range? And can I still feel tension on my chest? I can get to about right here, feel a pretty solid chest stretch, and there's no discomfort in my shoulder here. So this is a fine range of motion for me. But you may be one of those people that you get to about right in here and you start having some shoulder discomfort, or maybe you don't have any more range. That's okay. There's no specific, you have to go in this range of motion or that range of motion. It's all individual and it's all based on your anatomy. Everybody has different available ranges and you have to respect your range. So no matter what range I go through, I want you to respect your range and your anatomy. And that's what all this is dictated on. That's why this is a training course that is advanced. This is not some bullshit, $39.99 course. This is a $300 plus course for a reason. Because I'm freaking taking my time to walk you through shit. And why am I doing that? It's because I know my shit, and most people don't. It takes a lot of, it's really hard to coach these things. So that's why I encourage you to, you're gonna see multiple videos in this thing. You're gonna see a plethora of videos for a reason, to learn how to freaking position yourself on these. I don't ever go to the gyms and see people position correctly. I would have done anything to have a freaking video tell me how to freaking position the bench. I don't see this kind of shit on YouTube. It's all about how do you do the most advanced 5-day workout split? Well, if you don't know how to position the bench, why the does a 5-day workout split matter? I mean, talk about losing our focus. Like, learn how to do your and then we can talk about, an advanced split. If I thought people knew their I wouldn't be doing this. So anyway, let's get started. Sorry for that random tangent, but it blows my mind, the people moving on and ignoring all this. This is the freaking bread and butter right here. So don't ignore these videos. Let's get started. Let's go with set number 1. I've got this thing positioned. I'm gonna guess on a weight. We're gonna see how this goes. Okay, time under tension, 1 minute. Got my timer, I'm gonna get it started. Step 1, we position the bench, right? So you watch the video, you got this position front to back. You can scroll through in the app, you can see embedded videos. If you haven't watched it yet, make sure you watch how to position this bench before you even start this thing. 1 minute, timer is set. I'm in position. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna unlock this thing. I'm gonna get my wrists straight, so I'm underneath this bar. I'm gonna make my chest fight this load all the way down. I'm gonna decelerate, I'm gonna pause here, tighten before I move. Controlling this press all the way to straight. I'm gonna fight this bar all the way down. What's everybody doing at Crunch Fitness? They're getting to here, the bar's falling down, and they're just doing this. That's easy. What are we doing? We're gonna make our chest fight this bar all the way down. We're gonna use our chest to decelerate. We're gonna pause here. We're gonna keep tension on our chest, and we're gonna make this chest move our arms all the way to straight. Time, rest. 1 minute. So since I started with YouTube, I got recently partnered where I get paid for it, which is nice. I think what it's made me do is pay more attention to what's out there. I've known what's out there for a while. There's a lot of really good people out there. But one thing I have seen I think people probably structure their content based on views. And one thing that I am not going to do is I'm not going to cater my principles and what I think is best for you. And that's regardless of the algorithms. So what I think that's what will make me successful, because it's the most important for you, not for me, for you. And that is, how do you do this? Okay? It's not how, I will randomly put these thumbnails where it's like how to get the biggest shoulders. I kind of do it to be funny, but focus in on how to execute, how to freaking execute. That's what we're focused on. This is how you're going to win right here. Learning how to do this stuff is round 2. Here we go. 1 minute. Let's execute right here. Let's do what nobody else is doing. And let's make our chest fight this bar. We're going to maximize every second that you're under tension. We're going to decelerate. Pause here. I'm going to keep tension on my chest. I'm going to tighten before I move. Really creating that mind-muscle connection. Step 1, 4-step rep. Squeezing my chest, controlling the lowering. I'm going to decelerate. I'm going to pause through here. I'm going to tighten before I move. I'm going to make my chest, move my arms to straight. Now you can play with variable speeds. I can go quicker and still control it. The biggest principle is that you're in control of the weight, that the weight is not in control of you. Man, what is it, like rep freaking 3 and I'm almost done. Time is up. Holding here, keeping tension on my chest, tightening first. That's it, rest. 2 sets. 2 sets, 4 reps, 3 reps, 4, 5 reps, whatever the hell it was. I wasn't counting. Why was that hard? It's because it's not the rep count that matters. It's how do we maximize the time that your muscles are under tension for, pushing yourself near failure and creating the most mind-muscle connection so that we create the most mechanical tension, which then creates the most metabolic stress. And it's the metabolic stress, the time under tension, and the mechanical tension that induces hypertrophy, which is muscle growth. So it's knowing the fundamentals and putting these fundamentals together into practice and not getting distracted on what the effing weight is, because that doesn't matter. That only matters for your freaking ego. It doesn't matter for your muscles. Your muscles, your chest has no idea the amount of weight on this machine. It knows one thing: this freaking sucks ass, and I've got to contract as hard as I can to push this thing. But your chest has no freaking emotional idea of what that weight says at all. So, and this is advanced. This is where you really learn how to make progress and not worry about what anybody else thinks. 1 minute, set 3, here we go. I'm gonna unlock this, then I'm gonna reposition my wrist to make sure my wrist is straight. I'm gonna keep my elbows under this bar. I'm making my chest fight this load all the way down. I'm gonna pause. I'm gonna pause here for about 1, 2, 3, tighten first. If you think that pause was wasted time under tension, you're completely wrong. Just try it and you're going to find out why. Pause here for 3, 2, press. What's everybody at Crunch doing right now? What are we doing? We're going to make your chest work as hard as you can. Entire effing time. Decelerate. Pause here for 3, 2, 1. I'm about to fail. Man, that is round 3. 4 is going to be interesting. Rest. Okay, I'm gonna act as if I'm you and what I want you to do. And that is close your eyes. Take deep breaths. We've only got 60 seconds. So just like we maximize our time under tension with the weight, we also maximize our rest time. Your rest time is just as important as your work time. I want you resting as I talk because I've got a lot to talk about. So I do intervals every day on the step mill. My background is strength and conditioning. So if you don't know much about me, I've worked with Olympic athletes, Division I athletes, NFL players, NBA players. My expertise stems from performance training. So part of that background is I know how to maximize rest, because you have, in sports, you've got to maximize rest to maximize work. And all these principles apply to your strength training. So during your rest time, if you scroll your phone and you're on TikTok or whatever, play with this. Take some sets, scroll your phone, let your mind run, and then go into the workout. And then play with some sets with closing your eyes and actively resting. Compare the two. You're gonna notice that that rest where you're scrolling wasn't rest at all, because there is just as much benefit from focused rest as there is focused work. These things will blow your freaking mind. It fascinates me working with clients every day, which is what makes me good at this, and having them play with this shit. I do this all day with people. I say, scroll your phone, rest. Okay, now sit here, focus on your rest. And they'll be like, why was that so much different? I had so much more recovery. It's because your other wasn't rest. Your mind never actually got to engage in that focused rest, which is just like the focused work. Intention is everything. Your mind dictates all this stuff. I think it's fascinating, it's bizarre. You'd think this is my first day. Okay, set 4. I'm gonna unlock this thing, keeping my elbows under the bar. I'm gonna make my chest fight this thing all the way down. I'm gonna pause here. I'm gonna tighten first. Are your movers moving the weight, or are you just moving? Do you know what that means? Does that sink into you? What's the difference? Okay, well, let's go with it. If my movers are moving the weight, this means my chest is owning every inch that I lower. My chest are the movers, and they are pushing this weight all the way up. If I'm just moving, I'm just going through the motions. I'm about to fail. We'll see if I got this one. Time is up. Decelerate. I don't got it. There's the value of the Smith machine right there. You gotta lock it out. Right here's the value, folks. I didn't have to worry about going all the way to straight. So why do we have this thing? This adds a safety mechanism. You don't need a spotter, and we can push yourself closer to that failure point with a Smith machine. If you don't have one of these, do this with dumbbells. I have a video in the app you can scroll down to, and I show this exact same exercise with dumbbells. So this is not required, but it is a benefit if you do have a gym membership. Exercise number 2, set number 8. We're on our last thing. So we're gonna go to a cable machine. Join me over here. If you don't have cables, you can use bands. Let's go to our last exercise. Last exercise. So what we've done so far, we did a dumbbell press from a flat position. So we've mixed up angles, flat. Second thing we did was an incline, changes how your chest contracts. Now we're gonna do a similar position as the flat. This may look kind of declined with the cable machine, but it's really not that much. But it is a different tension relationship because the cable provides constant tension. So this is a different way to manipulate tension on your chest. So this is just an extra variable to play with. How do you position the cables? How do you actually set this machine up? You walk into the gym. Let's say this thing is all the way up. the good part about all these things is we have the same principles. So in the dumbbell press, how do I want you positioned? I want your hands slightly under your shoulders. And what that does is it creates a little joint space between all of your tendons in your shoulder joint so that when you lower down in this position, you've got space and then you're not impinging on any of these tendons. Because if my hands are up this way, there's less joint space and this is more stress on the shoulder joint. Well, when I went to the incline and I showed you how do we set up the Smith machine, I showed you the exact same principles. How do we create that same space on the incline press as we did in the dumbbell press? We're gonna do that same thing here at the cable machine. So point being, all these same principles apply. We just gotta learn how to apply them on every apparatus that we're on. So what we want to do is we want to lower these cables to a position so that when you're at your end range here and here, that your hands are slightly underneath your shoulders. So if this cable is up this high here like this, I've got it on 12, 12. Look at the relationship of the cable and my shoulder. So when I'm all the way out, my hands are almost even with my shoulder, and there's going to be more stress here at the joint. So if I lower the cables down just a little bit, I'm going to create a little bit more space. And if you look at where my freaking nipple is, so here's my nipple. If I bring this thing all the way in, my hand is slightly nipple level, if we want to go there. So I'm going to put this thing on 10. And I do enjoy saying the word nipple, if you're wondering. I got to entertain y'all somehow. Okay, so I think I put it on 9, but this will still be fine. So if I've got this on 9, notice how here I've got the relationship that I want. My hands are underneath my shoulder, slightly even with or under the nipple, and then coming all the way out. I'm in a good position. So we don't want to be too far down. We don't want to be too far up. We're right, slightly tucked under the shoulder joint. That's how we know where to position this as far as your height goes. Okay. Now, we're going to guess on a weight. And we've got one of two ways we can do this thing. We can do a fly where you're oriented vertical and you're going to pull in like this. The problem with this is if you've got any amount of tension pulling you back, you really don't have a ton of stability. So I really like performing this in a split stance because this gives me more of a base to work with so that my center of gravity is more over my base of support, and I don't have to fight my trunk because I don't have any support here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna split our stance. You're gonna come on the ball of your back foot and you're gonna use your legs to provide support as we use these cables and bring them all the way together. The number 2 thing you're gonna do is with your trunk, you're gonna orient it slightly forward so that I'm hinged at the hips, my trunk is forward, I've got a good base here, and this allows my chest to have an anchor of support to contract off of so that I can maximally engage all these chest fibers. If you don't have any support here, you have no foundation to work with, and it's really hard to maximize the engagement of your chest because you're trying to stabilize the whole time. So we've got to create maximal stability, and the way we do that is by this staggered stance. So once again, let's walk through this thing. Build it from the ground up. Feet, hip width. We're going to stagger our stance, staying relatively hip width. You can kind of play with the length. You're going to basically do a calf raise on your back foot. And what you're doing is you're using your back leg to drive it into the ground to provide support so that you can maximize the tension on your chest and have something to fight that cable with, and your chest is completely anchored. So do not neglect this stance position. It is everything to maximize the engagement of your chest. Let's go set number 1. 1 minute time under tension. I'm gonna start my clock. Timer started. Split stance. I'm on the ball of my back foot. Trunk is oriented forward. I'm gonna tighten before I move. I'm gonna make my chest, draw my hands together, decelerate, squeeze and hold. I'm gonna make my chest fight my hands all the way back out. Pause here. I'm gonna keep tension on my chest. I'm gonna make my chest draw my hands towards the center. See that shake? It's maximal engagement. They're not doing that at Crunch Fitness. What are they doing at Crunch Fitness? You already know, I've showed you this before. Here's what they're doing right here. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They're counting reps. They're not maximizing engagement. What are we gonna do? We're gonna do the exact freaking opposite. We're gonna tighten your chest before you move. And we're gonna make your chest, draw your hands towards the center. Time is up. And this is 100% different. I can't even finish my rep, but I'm gonna keep tension and I'm gonna fight it all the way back out. Guys, I definitely am doing my best to provide some entertainment, keep this engaging for you, but I do this for fun. I don't want you to think I'm just mocking people randomly. Most people, they just don't know. It's not, this is out of fun. So all this Crunch Fitness stuff, it is what I see when I go, but people just don't know how to do it. I really, at the end of the day, it's why I'm doing this, is to help all these people. It's not out of poking fun at anybody. So I want you to know that, number one. Number two is, you're gonna get so much more from this by engaging your muscles, making your muscles work every single inch of the movement. I have done this for so long that I'm just trying to drive home a point. I'm fighting a resistance out there that is a billion videos to one. And so I'm trying to maximize my exposure because I want people to know this stuff. This is just very foreign. People look like an alien in the gym when they do this. And I want to change that. I want to make it to where people are in the effing gym and this is common. I want to make it to where somebody walks in a gym and they freaking see control. I believe that can happen, but it starts with somebody to try to create change. So that's what I'm trying to do. Here we go. All right, we're gonna get into position. Start my time, 1 minute. Okay, I'm gonna get my support, staggered stance, tightening before I move. We're gonna make your chest, draw your hands together. Squeeze and hold, and make your chest. Fight your arms all the way back. Now, what would happen if I didn't have this staggered stance? Well, so if we're here, I can still do this, but I've lost a ton of anchor to really be able to use my chest. So this is possible, but this base here really allows you to pull more with your chest and generate a little more tension. At this point, I'm just effing gas, so I gotta drop it. I'm on 2 plates, if you're wondering. Squeezing here. One more, last one. Tighten before you move. Mind-muscle connection. Keep fighting for it, keep fighting for it. Honestly, I want to stop right here, but I know I can finish. So I'm going to keep driving myself into maximal adduction. Squeezing here at the end for 3, 2, 1. Fighting all the way back. Rest. 1 minute. I want you to completely rest. I'm going to talk, but just so you know, I want you to just listen and close your eyes. I've been doing a lot of research on muscle failure. What is muscle failure? Well, one of the biggest properties of muscle failure is a decrease in velocity. If you watch somebody do a set of maximal reps, my experience is like working with NFL guys who are training for the combine. What you see is as they approach the end of their maximal set, so let's say they're doing 225 for how many reps they can do. As they approach, rep, let's say 15 or 16, they get to a point where they can't move that bar anymore. And you'll notice that they stop because they can't press anymore. And the only place they have to go is down this way because they don't have any more gas in the tank. And that's when they fail. That's what muscle failure looks like. Why do I bring this up? Well, because you have to know the properties of muscle failure to know if you're pushing yourself towards muscle failure or not. Most people do not actually know what muscle failure feels like. And the way that I know this is when I talk to people and they tell me they're going near failure, and then I watch their sets, there's never a decrease in velocity. So they're ending these sets the same way that I made fun of Crunch Fitness. And that is they're doing this. They're going to rep number 8, 9, 10. I'm done. I'm done with that shit. 10 reps. Near failure. No, I wasn't near failure at all. You got me doing 3 reps, this joker doing 10, and he's making fun of me for my light weight, and I'm here on my last rep, and I'm struggling because I can't bring my hands any more together, and I'm shaking like a freaking leaf, and he's telling me he went to failure. So who went to failure? Well, you've got to know the properties of muscle failure, and then we can just freaking analyze it, not by people making shit up, by actually looking at what is muscle failure, and that's pushing your muscles to the max where they don't have any more gas in the tank, and you know that by decrease in velocity and a going to a place where they literally can't move anymore. You've watched me. I mean, this is where I'm going. I don't have any more room to go without losing form. So I say all that so that you know how far to push yourself during these sets. Round 3. Here we go. Set 3, tightening before I move. My chest muscles have no idea the amount of weight that's on this cable machine. Do you understand what I just said? That's a really important, that's a very deep concept. My chest muscles have no idea the amount of weight I'm using. They know one thing, and that's challenge. The amount of weight doesn't matter. It's how much you're able to engage your muscles, pushing yourself under a certain amount of time under tension with a certain amount of effort. I can't move my freaking hands together anymore. This is what I call near failure. I'm done. Rest. How many reps was that? I don't know. I honestly wasn't counting. I wasn't any more than 5. But it doesn't matter. Because I went to my failure point. And I went in a duration that maximizes hypertrophy. And that's between that 40 and 90 second window. What are the principles of MGB? Time under tension, effort, failure. And I'm just going to continue to ingrain these things in your head. It's what's really cool, and this is probably my experience, is that I have clients of mine that know more than most trainers. And from my standpoint, that's a bad business model because it makes it to where clients don't need you anymore. But when I tell you that my goal for you is that you don't need me, I'm serious. I mean, I can make it to where you can go to a gym and you know more than almost every trainer in that gym. Watch these workouts. I'll teach you. Here we go. Last one. Tighten before you move. This right here is the way I work out. Silence, focus, intention. Got to drop. I could have forced something there, but I was at form failure. I didn't have any more. Decrease in velocity, right? Increase engagement. What are the properties of failure? It's not slamming shit around. That's time. Okay, so I want you to watch this. I'm at failure with the mind-muscle connection. Is that a time? Here we go. I'm going to show you what everybody's doing at crunch. We're done with our workout. This is just demonstration. Same weight. Nothing's changed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. Could have done 100. Which one was harder? 4 reps or 40 reps? Draw it out on a chart. 4, 40. Not many people are going to say 4. Some people may. Welcome to STEELEFIT, where everything you learn is pretty much the opposite of what everybody else is doing. But that's a good thing, because we're going to be an alien in the gym, and we're going to do everything with precision, with intention, with effort, and with control. And it's everything that's hard to teach, and it's everything that's hard to do. But one thing I've learned in life is that the hardest things have always set me up for the best things. And everything in here applies to every aspect in your life. If you work out with effort and focus and mastery, you will do everything else in your life with mastery. There's something unique about strength training that's very similar to making your bed, and it carries more weight than most things in life, because this challenges your mind and it challenges your body uniquely different than anything else. I'm telling you, if you learn these principles, they're going to translate beyond the gym. That's my passion. Honestly, that's why I love this so much. I look forward to seeing you in our next workout. Day 1, chest complete. I want to go over some of the things in this workout and kind of prepare you for the rest of the week and what we have ahead of us. So I initially talked about how does this 5-day split work, and I went over the order I want you to do this in, and it's going to be day 1, chest, which was today. So this was day 1, we did chest. Our next workout, we're going to go back, so that's going to be day 2. Why specifically am I going chest and back? Well, this is because in our chest workout, we have chest and triceps, and then our back workout, it's an opposing muscle group. So anterior, posterior split. In our back, we have back and biceps. So, biceps are on the opposite side of the axis as your triceps, so they're not involved in this chest day. And then your back, same thing. Your back's going to be on the opposite side of the axis. Agonist, antagonist muscle groups, so we have no overlap there. Then we've got a rest day. So this is going to be your day 3. Now remember, day 1 could be on a Sunday. Day 1 could be on you can, orient these splits however you want. It's just the order of these things is designed strategically. Then we've got our rest, and then we've got shoulders. And we've got arms. We've got legs. So 1, 2, rest, 3, 4, 5, rest. 5, 6, 7, yeah. Okay, so the way this works too, so we've got chest, back, I went over that, rest day. So now you've had 3 days in between, and then we've got shoulders. You're gonna have some chest in your shoulders day. Your chest has had a ton of rest by this point, and you're gonna have a little bit of tricep involved, but your triceps have also had plenty of rest. So this split works out perfect for this. I'm walking you through the strategy behind every ounce of this thought process. Then we've got arms. So even though you've got a little bit of tricep in your shoulders, there's not a ton. You're basically just gonna have a tricep involved in your overhead press. It's enough to stimulate your triceps, but not really give them enough fatigue that's gonna impact your tricep workout on your arm day. So this is not gonna affect this, and I wouldn't wanna position your arms before your shoulders because that will affect your ability to press because your triceps are gonna be completely gassed. So it's the order of the accessory muscles is important to have your arms here as opposed to flipping your arms before your shoulders. That's the strategy here. And then you've got your legs, and then we've got another rest day. So look, your chest has then had 2 days in between before you're hitting your chest again. So your triceps will not be affected on your chest day, which is also going to involve triceps. So this is the reason these knuckleheads on YouTube drive me nuts that insinuate that a 4-day split is superior to hypertrophy than a 5-day split. Once again, why are they wrong? And yes, I'm going to say they are wrong. Why am I going to say that they're wrong? Because they are not considering how the body works as a whole. Your body does not work in isolation, meaning on chest day, it's not just chest, you've also got triceps. On back day, it's not just back, you've also got biceps. What does this mean? This means that your triceps and your biceps are getting worked more than just arm day. This means that your chest is going to be worked more than just on chest day because your chest is also involved on your shoulder day. This means that your back is going to be worked more than just on back day because your back is also involved in shoulder day. And this means that if you want to add an extra leg day, you can. So a 4-day split does get quote unquote more push-pull in. However, you're acting as if your body works in isolation, and it doesn't. So you're getting all these accessory muscle groups in more than once a week. What are the other benefits of this? We are going to be more focused on your chest on chest day without being split between, okay, now I've got to either superset this with back without having optimal rest. And it allows you to be, when you're doing these intentional lifts, there's a lot of neurological energy involved in this. So this allows you to pour every ounce of your energy on this centered muscle group that we're focused on. This allows you to maximize your volume per lift, which is important for hypertrophy. And this also means that you're hitting things frequently enough, because I went over how these muscle groups overlap, that you're still stimulating them throughout the week. The only exception to the rule would be legs, because I do understand there's only one leg day here, but this is very easily fixed, and that is by you can add another leg day if you want. Once again, the biggest thing is, as I said before, I'm going to create a 4-day workout split program. I'm not against 4-day splits. This is my preferred split. However, between a 4-day split and a 5-day split, who the f*** cares if you don't know how to execute? Execution is everything. Your workout split doesn't matter. 5-day split, 4-day split. What am I the most worried about? Teaching you how to lift. Making sure that every single exercise, you know what you're doing when you go into a gym. That's what I care about. These other things, ignore these. Follow the program and cut out the noise. Focus on the execution. Focus on learning how to do things. That's where the value is in this thing. And this is why I've created this. This is why, if you if you're just starting with me, if you're watching this video a year from now, know that right now I'm in the filming process. This is a 60-week process. Why am I not just spitting these videos out and throwing together? Because that's easy. Do you know me by now? If not, you will learn me. Nothing I do is easy. I do things with precision and I do things with excellence. So what I'm putting out is a product that's really hard to make, and that is teaching you how to do this. That's hard. That takes a ton of work. I can't film 5 of these a week because I have to study, and I put together a plan for every single one of these videos, as opposed to just spitting out mass content like all these other creators are. So anyway, I put a lot into this, and that's where you see my passion, because my heart is freaking in this thing. Welcome to STEELEFIT. I hope that today helped you. Next workout is going to be back, and then we're going to keep progressing and keep pushing you. Watch all these videos, watch the technique, scroll. I've got content throughout this app that you probably won't even know about unless you really play with the app and look at all the different sections. I look forward to seeing you in our next workout.